minus 21. Calm. We've just had a little dusting of snow. Fireplace is going. Ooh, just a perfect day. Except I need my sunglasses. Cold, warm in the house, sunshine, a little bit of snow. What a perfect day. More snow on the horizon. Hopefully we get a good dump because we need it. Things are starting to add up. So I have my brother set up a video monitor on the monitors I have within the winter shed. And now I have that. I just watch my temperature all the time. It's my new TV. But I've been adjusting the fan speed and I've been adjusting the box fan speeds to try to balance out the airflow within the shed to get proper mixing. So the temperature of the shed is exactly the same from the outside to the inside. I've been having trouble with a hot spot in the middle of my shed, and it's probably a little more exaggerated this year because just the way I stacked the bees in the shed this year. I have 1,616 colonies, not including my custom colonies I have in there, but I had to stack the rows just a little bit tighter, which I think made all the difference of that airflow within the shed, mixing the air in between the aisles. And it just so happens that I brought 2 yards in. Yeah, so this fan's not on idle yet. It's pumping a good amount of air through. So that tells me it's probably close to my target. But anyways, I brought 2 yards in that were extremely huge hives. Whatever conditions were happening within those 2 yards, pow! And they are probably my best bees. But I just happen to stack them right in the center because I can't tell when I'm bringing them in what's good, what's not, what's huge until you get them in the shed and actually see them start to beard when they have trouble. But right in the middle of the shed where I had not enough airflow, and it created a hot spot within my shed. The temperature from inside the shed was like 11 degrees when the outside of the shed was up around that 6. So that wasn't good. So what I did, and I could tell because those bees are super active and too active, I had to slow them down, quiet them down, and I had to protect those hives just to make sure that heat spot didn't ignite if we had milder weather come through and spread to, made that hot spot a lot larger. I look at it as if I'm managing a grain bin. You have a little hot spot. Whoop. You have that little hot spot in that grain bin, and if it's not controlled or if it's not paid attention to, it can just explode and ignite and take the whole bin. So I had to readjust my air circulation from the ceiling. I didn't adjust the direction of the fans. I'm still blowing down because if I had to pull up, I have to rewire the whole shed. So I'm still pushing down, and I've included 2 box fans on the cold side of the shed to push the air through that hot spot to take out that extra heat. So I just want to see how even I have the airflow within the shed now. Cold night like last night, minus 20, 25, should be helping me cool the shed down. And I want to see how even, I should get my red light. I want to see how even I have the temperature throughout the entire shed. What a mess, what a mess, what a mess, what a mess, what a mess. Where's my, there it is. This place is a disaster. Whatever. The secret to this is you hold down, boom. Here, I'll put this on my head. to the depths. All right, so my fan here, my module says 4, and I have my little camera set up here, connected to Wi-Fi, which broadcasts over the internet, so I can monitor this anywhere in the world. So I'm looking at a shed temperature of 2, and inside my hotspot it's 4. So that's right on target. So I think that's satisfactory. I'd like to get these two temperatures a little more even, but I'm not going to be able to do that just because of my shed is way too simple. So I'm just going to have to maybe add another box fan somewhere to spread out this, all these air pockets. So I need a, so let's take a look. I turned down my ceiling fans a little bit just to slow down the churn of the air. With this cold air coming in, it should be satisfactory to maintain the temperature I need. Look at the frost there. That is some cold, cold air coming in. And the humidity is condensing on that air intake. This is where the flaw of my shed falls, is all this cold air just comes blasting in here in this side of the shed. So this side of the shed is colder than that side of the shed. But as the air gets pulled across the room, these ceiling fans mix the air down in through the rows and distributes that cooler air, mix it in, pulls the heat, pulls the CO2, pulls the moisture, and then expels it. The box fans are running, and my bees are not bearding. They're just happily at the entrance. Focus. It doesn't like focusing on red light. A little bit of bee drop, not a lot. There's my box reminder to replace my boxes. Bad box, good bees. I have to sweep that up yet before it starts getting too stale. Here's the problem row. This is the one that is super concentrated with very strong colonies. And they've nicely tucked themselves back in. There, that's a lot better. Quiet row. Still super big, but not near as active. So that is what I want to see. You feel the air coming from that box fan. So that's helping. I'm looking for that balance. Oh, these guys are... Boy, this is just... These... Gosh. There's tremendous looking hives in here. I almost need another half box to put them in. I'm looking for that balance. I don't like providing a lot of disruption to the airflow like this. I want a nice, easy, steady mix within the shed because I want to help promote the dynamics that are going on within the cluster itself. And with too much air disturbance out in front, I'm afraid I'll be interfering with what's going on inside the nest. So this cluster is maintaining the conditions within the box here itself. And what they're doing is they're managing all those conditions, one of them being CO2. And they say that the girls will put like a carbon dioxide envelope around that cluster and increase that concentration up to, I mean, they've measured over 20 million parts up to 40 million parts per million within this cluster, which is deadly for anything else, but for them they're able to manage that, and I think they use that to, in a way, send them into a trance to get them through winter, to slow them right down so they're not near as active. And with my own little device, like, it doesn't read that high, but I stick my little probe up into the cluster, like through the top entrance where I'm not disturbing them as much, and it just sends my CO2 levels off the charts until I disturb the nest, and all of a sudden, poof, it must just kind of push it away, expel the CO2. So that disturbance is what I'm trying to minimize. Like, walking through the shed like this probably is enough disturbance to screw around with all those dynamics. So I got to get out of here. Once I get these conditions where I need them so I can monitor them on the outside of the shed, I'm not going to come back in here rather than just sweep up the shed and just maybe every once in a while check my babies. Because I want them to set themselves up and just kind of endure the length of winter here with minimal disturbance within the shed. I don't think this is causing a disturbance. But to put out that hot spot, I think, is more important than anything else right now. Maybe it's time for me to build a plenum and get a better air distribution system going on in the shed. Looking at the air intakes coming in, and I should maybe have more of a air collection system on this side of the shed. Maybe a great big boxed in area, which then comes down and has plenums, individual plenums maybe, and there's something I can install after the bees are in, but just hang the plenums down the middle of the rows to make sure the air inflow is evenly distributed throughout the entire shed, and not, you know, not have any concern of pockets of heat or CO2 or whatever. Just even air mix, air distribution. So maybe I should get busy and do something like that. But for now, I'm just going to monitor my temperature at 4 degrees and 3 degrees. That's pretty damn close.